Hello folks, Wager Detective here. May 18th, 2026. Let's get into this cap between the Atlanta Braves versus the Miami Marlins. Should be a pretty interesting little rundown here. Be sure to follow Wager Detective on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and leave comments all over. Drop comments how Wager Detective can get better. I love all my fans out there. Let's get into this cap. The Atlanta Braves this year, 32-15 on the year. They're 6-4 in their last 10. 16-7 on the road, and they're 4-4 in one-run games. They're 10-3 on the year versus the National League East. Now, the Braves versus the Marlins. They're 7-2 in their last 9 versus the Marlins. 6 over, 3 under. 6.88 runs per game for the Atlanta Braves to 4.11 for the Miami Marlins. The Braves have scored 6+ runs 7 times in the last 9 meetings versus the Marlins. Something to keep in mind on there. The Braves last 9 at the Marlins, they're only 5-4. So 7-2 last 9 overall versus the Marlins, 5-4 last 9 at. And the last 9 at the Marlins, it's been over 3 over, 6 under, with the Braves scoring 5.55 runs per game to 2.88 for the Marlins. Comes out to 50 runs to 26 between those two teams. That comes out to 8.43 runs per game average over the last 9 at Miami. If we look at the Braves this year on road night games, they're 12-4, 10 over and 6 under. So the Braves, 12-4 in road night games this year, 10 over, 6 under. The Braves are scoring 6.1 runs per game to 3.31 for their opponents in road night games this year. 97-53 run differential there. If we look at the Braves the last 9 overall, they are 6-3, but 2 over, 7 under. So you can see their road night games this year, 10 over, 6 under, but their last 9 overall, 2 over, 7 under. Braves scoring 4.11 runs per game to 2 runs per game for their opponent over their last 9. Comes out to 6.11 runs per game. The Braves have held opponents to 2 runs or less 7 times in their last 9 games. If we look at every cap for the Wager Detective Report, it's going to have a part where it's a situational play, and we have one here. The Braves going from home to the road, no days rest before the All-Star break. So the Braves are 4-5 last 9 home to road series with no rest before the All-Star break. And in those 9 games, they're scoring 5.22 runs per game to 4.11 for their opponents. Comes out to 9.33 runs per game in that split. On the mound, it's a bit of an unknown. We got this gentleman, J.R. Ritchie. I don't know if he's going to be the primary starter. Maybe they start with a bullpen guy. This year, he does have 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 Ks. He's faced 21 batters, given up 7 ground balls and 8 fly balls. So a little bit of an unknown there. That's why this cap makes it a little bit harder. But if you look at it, we got a mixed bag here with the Braves. But if you look at everything overall, you would be leaning to the Braves. They're minus 102. Although I would caution they are coming off a home series against Boston. They put up a lot of runs yesterday. My initial reaction so far is the under 8.5, but let's see how the cap goes on the Marlins side. The Marlins this year having a pretty good year. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're below 500, but for a below 500 team, they got some bats in that lineup. They're 5-5. The Marlins in their last 10. They're 14-12 at home. They're 8-5 in one-run games, and they're 4-6 versus the National League East. So the Marlins 5-10 in their home night games this year. Not really good. 8 over, 7 under. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 4.53 for their opponents. Comes out to 8.53 runs per game in the 15 home night games for the Marlins this year. The Marlins are 4-5 in their last 9, scoring 4.44 runs per game to 5.22 for their opponents. That comes out to 9.66 runs per game over the Marlins' last 9 games. The Marlins have scored 2 runs or less 4 times in their last 9 games. And that's not a real good sign. Maybe they wake up here. They got some bats in that lineup. I'm a big fan of Liam Hicks, who's batting 5th today. I think that could be a strategic move. Kyle Stowers will move into the 3 spot, as you see on the screen there. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, the Marlins are 9-11 in their last 20 home games versus the NL East before the All-Star break. In those games, 9 over and 11 under in those games. Average score coming out to about 8.60 runs per game in those games. So the Marlins 9 and 11 last 20 home games versus the National League East before the All-Star break. Pretty interesting there. And then we get in the Marlins. Max Myers is going to be on the mound. The Marlins are 4-1 in Max Myers' last 5 starts. In Myers' last 5 starts, 29 innings pitched, 21 hits, giving up 8 earned runs, 8 walks, 2 home runs, and 34 Ks. That comes out to a 2.48 ERA, a 1 whip, and a 0.62 home runs per 9 in Myers' last 5 outings. And in the wins for the Marlins in Myers' last 5 outings, the wins have come against Minnesota, Baltimore, Philly, and St. Louis. I only probably say there's one lineup in there better, and that's the Phillies. St. Louis, low-key good lineup, but Baltimore and Minnesota haven't shown me much. I mean, I would think that they would get better with some of the studs they got in their lineup. The Baltimore showed it yesterday by beating the Nationals, but they got clobbered overall in that series. But so yeah, Myers this year on 4 days rest. The Marlins are 2-1 this year on Myers games on 4 days rest. In those games, he's pitched 15 innings, given up 15 hits, 6 earned runs, a home run, 6 walks, and 14 Ks. Comes out to a 3.6 ERA, a 1.4 whip, and a 0.6 home run per 9 when Myers has pitched this year on 4 days rest. So if we look at it overall, you can see how the line could be something intriguing to maybe bet the Braves, because the Braves are playing good. Let's take a look at what the odds are. And if you look at the line, it's like the Braves are the underdog slightly. I mean, they're both chalk, but so we got a -112 against a -104. Line sitting at 8.5. We've already established that Myers is pitching good over his last 5 outings, only a 2.48 ERA. Richie, an unknown. I think the Braves scored a lot of runs yesterday, and I think it's going to be, now that you're going to the road, you're going from Atlanta to Miami. It's not that far of a trip, but it's still no rest off of an exhausting, exhilarating series against the Red Sox in interleague play. You're only 5-4 in your last 9 at Miami. The total score of those 9 games is coming out to 8.43 runs per game. And if we look at the home night games for the Marlins, in the 15 games, the average score is coming out to 8.53. And then if we look at the Braves' last 9 overall, the average score is coming out to 6.11 runs per game. If I was to look at this game, the first lean is going to be to an under here. We got the Marlins going back home off of a road trip, right? They got clobbered pretty much by the Tampa Bay Rays. So not really that far of a trip for them. So I give them more of a lean. They're in state. The Braves are coming off of being home, flying from Atlanta to Miami. I would give with the way Max Myers is pitching, I would definitely lean towards the Marlins. But I'm going to call it here. I'm going to say the under 8.5 situational play. Both teams traveling to get to this game here. Braves going from home, from Atlanta to Miami. And Miami, not really that far, but they're going from Tampa Bay to Miami. Probably not that far, but still, you're coming off a road trip. You're getting settled in. Family distractions off of a road trip. So something to keep in mind there as you go into this game. And I think Myers has pitched well. I think, maybe a first 5 under might be something sneaky good to look at. Let's take a look at the first 5 innings. You're getting a 4.5, so I'll call that too. Wager Detective will say under 4.5, first 5, and then under full game, 8.5, and then it's hard to say who's going to win, but all the metrics say that the Braves should be the team that wins here. Whether it's late, whether it's something where I think this game is probably going to end up a 1-run game. But for this call, Wager Detective stronger lean is first 5 under 4.5 and full game under the 8.5. And in the first 5, what are we getting there? Is it a better line? first 5 innings. So you're still getting the 114 on both the full game and the first 5. But I would take the first 5 under 4.5, and that's going to be the call here. Wager Detective calling first 5 under 4.5 between the Marlins and the Braves. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts for Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate any and all support that I'm getting. Wager Detective just getting started. And more than anything else, guys, Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll talk to you soon. And there'll be another Wager Detective report for other games today. I'm just getting going. I'm here at the Tropicana. It's only about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got 1 game capped, and I'm going to get into the rest of these games. Maybe do an NHL Game 7 report for the Canadians and Sabres. But stay tuned for Wager Detective. I love all my fans. I'll talk to you soon.